Okay, let's take a look at Hudl and how to break down Hudl to create both stats for your players and for your teams, and then also to use the AI generated highlight films. So I'm looking at a game that we just posted over the weekend. We played Piper, and you can see that I uploaded the game film. I think everybody understands how to do that, but just go to upload. If you need to, what you'll need to do before you upload film is make sure that you manage your schedule correctly. So you'll need to enter your schedule, and then when you upload film, you associate that film. Let me get rid of that. You associate that film with one of your scheduled events, and that's how that ties together. And then what you should come back to is something that looks like this with my games that have any film on them. And then, I can have one or multiple angles or one or multiple uploads. This one, we're just going to focus on a single angle, which quite frankly is probably all we're going to have. So if I click into my film, this is what we're looking at right now is in breakdown mode. Now, I like to work full screen for breakdown mode. You can see that there's a breakdown up here. You've got some other options. If I click on the Navigate tab, I can go play by play and break this down. Now, I've already broken this film down, but I'll show you really quickly how to do that. So I have all of my play information here. Let's jump forward to an actual play. Okay, so this is let's go to an offensive play. Okay, so this is an offensive play right here. A couple of quick tips and tricks. I'm hitting spacebar to start and stop my video. If I use my left and right arrow keys, I'll go backwards or forwards one play respectively. If I let this run for a second, if I hold the down arrow, I'm going to get slow-mo forward. And if I hold the up arrow, I get slow-mo reverse. So especially when I'm actually breaking the film down, I'm trying to coach the kids or understand what they're doing so I can modify my practice plans. I really like, using slow-mo. The eye and the sky don't lie. So it's really, really a useful way to break down the film. But in this case, we're talking about stats, and then we're talking about the AI-generated plays. Now, the first thing that you're going to want to do is, if I get out of my full screen view here for just a second, and I come back here, in this breakdown view right here, I can select the columns that I care about. And a few of these columns are really important. I've learned the hard way if you want good stats, or even just basic level stats that are sort of useful to you. So here I am in my full screen mode. I'm going to talk you through the custom columns and then how to score this really quickly as well. So play number is play number. That's an auto-generated number. The quarter is useful when you talk about box scoring. So what happened from a scoring perspective in every quarter. That one is typically there, but you can add that in, and then that auto-generates offense, defense, or kickoff. This one's important. This is how you can filter and analyze, and you get breakdown reports and stuff like that. What's your down distance? Where are you at? Yard lines. Now, quick thing, if you're on your side of the ball, you're in the negative territory. So, for example, if you're coming off of, in this case, we are on their, looks like we're on their, 34 going in. So you can see we're at the positive 34-yard line. That's their yard line. If it was flipped, though, if Piper had the ball here, they'd be on their negative 34. So that's just one of the Hudl isms that you need to understand. You can actually use this, and it may be worth your time if you're trying to understand, what's most effective for your formations over time. You can actually enter your offensive formations and your offensive plays from the playbook that we have here in Hudl as well. You can also do this to scout your opponents. So if you want to know what their trends are, like how often do they run this, what do they do when they're in this formation, you can go through this with them on offense, and you can, use like 2x2 or 3x1 or whatever the heck, and you can start to get some real trend analysis on that stuff. If you have the time and the patience to do it, get after it, man. It's there. Play type here. I only track pass and run. So pass and run are the key play types. You can customize those play types, but I just like pass and run. Play direction, I like that because I like to make sure that we're having a balanced attack. I don't want to over-index or over-trend, and I'll show you how this game broke down at the end. This is one, so for your quarterback stats, you want the passer, whether it's complete or not. If you have a pass, you want to note the receiver, and that's how you track targets for your receivers as well as attempts for your quarterbacks. In this case, we had a completed pass. It was a 10-yard pass to the left. Okay, so that's what all these stats mean. If this had been a run play, so let's go find a run play. Here's a run play here. So this is a run to the left. The result was a rush. So the results are pretty straightforward. There's all these other options, but really, for your run plays, it's either a rush or something like heaven forbid a fumble. For pass, it's complete, incomplete, intercepted, complete for a touchdown. So make sure you pay attention to your pass types or your result types. But generally speaking, like in this case, we had a run for no gain. So this was a run play to the left. The result of the play was a rush for no yards. That's how we interpret that. And then here's our ball carrier here. The rusher was Vaughn Hill. Okay. The other nuances here for defense, tackler 1, tackler 2. So you're only going to get 2 kids maximum with a half tackle, but you can make sure that you put that information in there. If you have something like a false start, don't include like -5 yards on a false start. You're gonna track that. You can leave the result as penalty, which you can see here, right? And then what is the penalty down here? So that maybe is like a false start. There it is, offensive false start. And then what were your penalty yards? And that's how you'll track penalty yards. And then what you'll notice is that a lot of these like down distance and yard lines will sort of auto update. You can go back through and manually correct those if you need to. But once you get into a good flow on this, Hudl's doing most of this work, and really then all you're tracking is what was the play type, what was the result, and who was involved in the play. And then the same goes through, right? So if you have an interception, like if your defense has an interception, we had 2 in this game, make sure you note the player. The kickoff, I like to note the kicker and the kick yards, how far did he kick it? And then if I'm doing that, then I can also use the return yards down here for how far did they return it back to us, essentially. And then Hudl will automatically estimate where the ball started. You can make those manual corrections, but it's useful, again, just for sort of insights, especially for like the 6th graders who are actually starting to really put a foot in the ball and really start to kick and things like that. You'll want all that information as you're working through it. Okay, so you manually score this play by play, which once you get, at first it's kind of mundane. Once you get good at it, you can fly through this. It's also a great way to sort of get that first blush breakdown on the film. And then what will happen once you've scored the entire game, so this one had 60 plays, what you'll do is you'll come over here and you'll go to box score, and this will be auto-generated by Hudl. So this will take all the stats, everything you just broke down, and it will create this box score for you. You can edit or update anything in this box score. Sometimes your camera person's not paying attention, they miss a play, and so you sort of like piece the puzzle, or put the puzzle pieces together. So for example, in this one, we only had 1 run for 3 yards for Cade here. I actually know that he had another run that didn't get recorded for 8 yards, and so I might update this. So I'll do that actually here. Just to show you, I can come over here, and I know that Cade actually had 2 runs for 11 yards, and his long was an 8-yard run. And I can save it. I can view it. Now, what you will see, what's kind of cool about the box score here is these are all linked to the actual play. So I can look at any of the stats and see when and where this happened. Like, there's my touchdown. Cool. Okay, so that's how the box score works. When you get to this point, though, what Hudl's going to do is as soon as the box score is generated, it's going to use its AI to take any of its sort of perceived highlight plays, big yardage plays, touchdowns, turnovers, sacks, big plays of any nature, and it will make the highlight film that looks like this. It will make this highlight film, which I had nothing to do with. I didn't spend my time making this film. You can also make your own highlight films if you want to piece stuff together. I can show you how to do that in a different video. But that's how you get to this highlight film. So everything about this film had nothing to do with me except for me manually scoring. Once I did that, Hudl took over. Hudl did the rest of the all of this piecing together, all of the music. Hudl picked the player of the game, etc., etc., etc. Okay? So that's how that stuff goes together. That's how that stuff works. I actually highly, highly, highly recommend taking advantage of the film breakdown because the kids like the stats. The parents like the stats. The parents love the highlight videos. That's a great perk and feature for them. But more important for you as a coach, it gives you a real opportunity to start to understand your kids what they're doing well, what they're not doing well, how the game is flowing. Oh, and then the last thing, sorry, one more thing. Come back over here. Once you've broken all your film down, then you can look at your tendency reports here. So here's your breakdown, or go to Analyze. I like this dashboard a lot. So you can see our goal for this game was a 50-50 run pass balance, and you can see we got pretty dang close there, right? Play direction, looks like we skew a little bit heavy right. So some of that had to do with where we were lined up on the field. Some of that just needs to be adjusted. So that's a coaching point for me, is we need to run a little bit harder to the left, or we need to put some more we need to put the ball to the left side of the field a little bit more if we want to be balanced, or maybe we don't. Maybe the funny thing here is my left side is actually my strongest side from a line perspective, so I probably actually want to flip this. I need to turn this on its head and probably be at least 60-40 to the left side instead of the right side, right? So those are examples. That's how you can use these tools. That's how all this stuff gets put together. Hope that helps. Thanks, guys.